Hello and welcome to the HID Global installation video for the DigitalPersona NPS plugin. This video demonstrates installation of the Microsoft Network Policy Server role, or NPS, and deploying of the DigitalPersona NPS plugin. We will then test RADIUS Authentication using a one-time password, also known as an OTP. The installation steps will be: register and test the DigitalPersona mobile application, install the Microsoft Network Policy Server, configure the NPS server using the NPS console, test RADIUS Authentication using domain credentials, deploy the DigitalPersona NPS plugin, and test RADIUS Authentication using OTP. Let's begin. In my test environment, I have a domain controller, one member server that will be my NPS server, and one workstation. I have already installed and configured the basic DigitalPersona AD and workstation components. I will be installing on Windows Server 2016. However, Windows Server 2012 R2 and other versions of Windows Server will be similar. To start, I'm going to log into the Windows 10 workstation as my test user. I'll open DigitalPersona AD console and select one-time password. To generate my one-time passwords, I will be using the DigitalPersona mobile app, which is a free download on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. With the token type set to software token, I'm going to use the DigitalPersona mobile app to scan the QR code. After I scan the code and save the registration, the app will begin to generate one-time passwords every 30 seconds. I will enter the currently displayed OTP to complete the registration process. Now that my mobile app is registered, I can use OTPs generated by the app for Windows authentication and for authentication into applications and sites that have been trained for use with Password Manager. I will demonstrate this now. I will select Sign-in options, select the one-time password icon, and then enter the OTP displayed in the mobile app to log into my workstation. I'm going to return to my member server where I will install the NPS component by opening the Server Manager dashboard, selecting Manage, and then Add Roles and Features. I will select role-based or feature-based installation and select my local server. I will then select the Network Policy and Access Services role and its required features and click Next until I reach the confirmation to install the role. Then I will click Install to begin the installation. Once the installation is complete, I will close the installation wizard. Now I am going to launch the NPS console. I copied a shortcut to my desktop, but you can find this in the Server Manager and also in the Administrative Tools folder. I'll right-click RADIUS Clients and select New, give it a name, and enter the IP address of the RADIUS client. You will want to either generate a shared secret or create one based upon your password policy. I'll need this later when testing. I'll click OK to save my configuration. Now I will expand policies, right-click Connection Request Policies, and create a new policy. I'll give it a name and click Next. I'll scroll down to Day and Time Restrictions and click Add. I'm going to permit connections at any time and accept the rest of the default settings. I'll create a network policy the same way, granting access at any time. By default, the MS-CHAP encrypted authentication methods are enabled. You can decide whether you would like to allow unencrypted methods. It is generally recommended that you use MS-CHAP v2, but CHAP and PAP are also supported. I will accept the rest of the default settings. I am going to test the RADIUS connection using a testing tool, but you can conduct your own test using a VPN client. I will verify that I have the correct IP address, select MS-CHAP v2 as my authentication method, and enter the shared secret that I use when configuring the NPS server. I will now enter the domain credentials for my test user and click Send, verifying that the request was successful. Since I enabled PAP as an authentication method, I can test that also. To use an OTP for authentication, I will need to install the DigitalPersona AD NPS plugin on the server that has the NPS role. I will browse to my installation file and run it, accepting all of the default settings. Once the installation is complete, I will need to restart the server. Since my group policy specifies OTP as my authentication method, using password alone will no longer work. However, if I use the password, OTP format, my test is successful. Using only OTP will also fail. To resolve this, I am going to apply a registry key that allows authentication using OTP only. Let's take a look at the key before applying it to the NPS server. Okay, let's go ahead and apply it and then test again. I'll enter the new OTP, and this time the test is successful. I can also test successfully using the password, OTP format. Okay, that should do it. You can now start to use OTP authentication for your services that support RADIUS. Thank you for watching.